Welcome back. So today we're going to do a Club Cup quarterfinal prediction. So the first matchup will be. I just need to double check. Fluminense versus Al Hilal. Let's start off with Fluminense first. So they were in a group of we probably know Dortmund, Mabedi Sunday, and Olsen. So the first match against Dortmund ended 0-0. They won against Olsen 4-2, and drew against Mamadou Soda, which made them finish second and have to face AC Inter Milan. I just so upset with AC Milan. So against Inter Milan, they were not favorites, but they managed to pull up the upset, getting a 2-0 victory thanks to scoring by Cano in the 3 minute, then Hercules in the 91st 30 minutes. So they scored back in the first minute, and then Inter, they're crashing out. Their players are even saying it. Like Lautaro Martinez, who they say to hold who those like play bad could leave the club, which goes going to Chalanagu. So there's beef. Let's start. Let's go at Al Hilal. So they're in the put for the group of Real Madrid, Pachuca, and Salzburg. So the first match against Real Madrid ended in a 1-1 draw after the last minute penalty saved by Bono. And second match against RB Salzburg ended in a 0-0 draw. Jordan had to win against Pachuca, and they got the done by winning 2-0. So after finishing second, they had to face Manchester City. So Man City were expected to win. Even started what kind of scoring a red goal that was clear handball, and Bernardo Silva scored after it did. But in the second half, Aljo started strong, and Marcos Norwood scored like very early in the first half, and later they even took a lead after a great ball by Cancelo and a counterattack, and Malcolm scored. But this lead would not last long. Like after 3 minutes later, early Bro Holland equalized for Manchester City, and then no one would score, including a goal line clearance by Al Hilal. But then, so I had to went to extra time. But in the 94th minute, Koulibaly would head his ball into the back of the net to score. But Foden equaled after 10 minutes after a great ball by Turkey. But Al Hilal scored again after a save by Ederson. Ball just literally just sent it right into Reno's chest. And Marcus Reno scored while being injured, and this time they managed to hold on and get the W. So who do I think will win this tie? I think Al Hilal will take this. I think they managed to beat Manchester City. They have a really good squad on paper. There's Simeon Inter manager. I say anxiety. I don't know why. So I expect Al Hilal to win, but close. Next up tie is Chelsea versus Palmeiras. So Palmeiras or Chelsea, but whatever. So let's start with Palmeiras. So they're gonna put in a pretty even group of Palmeiras and with a group of Porto, Inter Miami, and Al Ahly. The first game against Porto ended in a 0-0 draw. But in the second game against Al Ahly, they won comfortably 2-0. But in their match against Inter Miami, they were 2-0 down, which means they'll face PSG, but they managed to come back in 2-2 draw, and goal difference made them top the group rather for a bottle for a goal. They're not expected to win this game. Anyways, they're not expected to win this game, but they managed to get it was pretty even. But they did manage to get the job done, but they did have to go to extra time, but anyway, he still managed to get the job done. As Paulinho just scored the goal as he passed it into the corner, and Bo just got right after got subbed out. And Gustavo Gomez got a red card for Palmeiras, but it didn't matter as they still won. So let's go over Chelsea next. So Chelsea were in a group of LAFC, Tunis, and Flamengo. So let's start with the first game against Flamengo, LAFC, where they won 2-0 comfortably. Expected was a little, but in the next game they had a shocker, as They took a lead against Flamengo thanks to Pedro Neto, but they blew it up to 3-1 lead after Jackson got the red card at the second goal, and everybody knew it was over. They had to win against Tunis to at least go through, which they did and scored a 3-0 win. But they in the round of 16 they had to face Benfica. Well, a lot of people kind of were not confident but still predicted. And in the first half, it had a 0-0 where Chelsea getting a lot of chance, but in the second half, Reece James scored a fantastic free kick after he caught him off guard, Turbin off guard. But in the 95th minute, after Margot goes to a handball away, Benfica got the penalty, which Angel Di Maria in his last game for Benfica, last tournament for Benfica, scored. I mean, it's kind of the last game but in the 108th minute after poor defending and poor goal in Turban, Christopher Nkunku scored, and right after 6 minutes after that, Pedro Neto scored and Dewsbury Hall finished off the game. I mean, they won. They kind of demolished them in extra time. Red card also was involved for Benfica for really dumb challenge. So, who do I think will win versus Chelsea versus Palmeiras? I think Chelsea will take this. I think they will take this. I think they'll get the experience. Not the experience, but I think you just take this. So you can never underestimate them. Can never underestimate Chelsea. I think their European experience will make them go down against Chelsea and go against Al Hilal. So that's my prediction. I think Chelsea will be close game, but I think they're still one. So next out the game is Paris Saint-Germain versus Bayern Munich. Let's start with PSG. So they were put in a group of Atletico Madrid, Seattle Sounders, and Botafogo. So let's start off their first game against Atletico Madrid where they cooked them 4-0. Second game, they had an upset as Botafogo did. Managed to defeat PSG after a goal by Angel Jesus. And they had to win their game against Seattle Sounders, which they did, comfortably 2-0 to qualify. I mean, they did probably 2-0 comfortably to qualify. In the round of 16, they had to face Inter Miami, where they cooked them. In the 6th minute, Joe Neves scored a header and scored again in the 39th minute. And Inter Miami defense can't even do anything as Thomas Alvarez they scored an own goal, but own goal in the 44th minute. After 3 minutes later, Afra Hakimi scored in the game, and they were 4-0 up. Well, many people expect them to score more, but they just stayed 4-0 and won the game. That's all that matters. Inter Miami somehow did not get called into Milan. Crazy. Let's talk about Bayern Munich now. The Bayern Munich were put in a group of Benfica, Auckland City, and Boca Juniors. So the first game against Auckland City, we don't have to talk about it, but we know they smashed them 10-0. Second game was Boca Juniors, won 2-1 in a great game, narrowly won, but they still won. Lost to Benfica 1-0, which put them second, which they probably were kind of happy. They could do that on purpose. I guess Flamengo scored an own goal in the 6th minute, then Harry Kane scored again. But Gerson scored, but if that went indoors, he'd probably break his head. And Jorginho scored a penalty. Then Jorginho scored a penalty for Flamengo in 55th minute. But this will still not make the game enough. Goretzka did score in the 41st minute, a banger, and Harry Kane sealed the deal in the 73rd minute. Great game from Bayern. I mean, from they had more shots in possession, but Bayern still won. And Flamengo kind of gifted them all the goals. So they're just doing better. So who do I think will win this tie? I think PSG will take this. PSG are champion of Europe. I think they will take They said, especially with Usman Dembele returning, I think they take this. Next up, the game is Real Madrid versus Juventus, Dortmund. So let's go Real Madrid first. So they're in the playoff group at Al Hilal, Pachuca, and Salzburg. So let's start with the first game with Al Hilal versus Al Hilal, where they got a 1-1 draw after missing the penalty in the 89th minute. Well, against Pachuca, they started really bad with Raul Sancio getting a red card 7 minutes, but they straight song and won 3-1. And against Salzburg, they won 3-0 to avoid Man City and face Juventus. In this match, Madrid got a crazy shot. AJ Di Gregorio was Neuer plus Buffon, and that, but they were able to convert one of them with Trent Alexander-Arnold passing to Gonzalo Garcia, and he headed it in past Di Gregorio to give Madrid a 1-0 lead. And they actually hold on to it and go get a 1-0 victory. They got the job done in the end of the day. A pretty good result. Now for Dortmund, we talked, but they're in a group of Fluminense, Ulsan, and Mamadi Somni. The first ground match against Fluminense, as we talked about, ended 0-0. The second was Sunday. They were 4-1 up, but was bottled as Sunday. Mamadi Sunday scored 2 more goals, but they still nearly won 4-3 and won against 1-0 in Ulsan. So this made them face Monterrey. And as in the first half, they scored 2 goals and looking to demolish them. And Monterrey did not hold back, and they were leading 2-0 at halftime. At 48 minutes, Monterrey did score. Kept pressing and couldn't score goal that was offside, but Dortmund still hold on. Now it's Real Madrid versus Dortmund. We everywhere thought we were going to see the Bellingham play, but no. Joe Bellingham got a yellow card, which he was suspended for the next game. But they should just let him play. Like, this group is so annoying. So who do I think will win versus Real Madrid versus Dortmund? I think Madrid will take this. I think it's very comfortably. I want to 2-0 comfortably. Well, take this comfortably in the score sheet and want to probably 2-0 or something. I think my quarterfinal for this tie will be Real Madrid PSG. So this is my quarterfinal prediction, Club World Cup. See you in semis. Bye.